There is a man in your neighborhood. You have probably seen him. He drives a car that is at least 8 years old. He does not wear anything with a logo on it. He takes his lunch to work. He never talks about money. His bank account has more in it than most people earn in a decade. You would never know. That is not an accident. That is a system. And today, we are going through every part of it. 10 habits that quietly wealthy people follow that nobody ever talks about. These are not the tips you have already heard. Not save more and invest early. Those are fine, but they are not this. These are the habits that build wealth across generations, quietly, invisibly, permanently. And the one at number 1, that is the habit that makes all the other 9 possible. We will get there. Let us start. Habit 10. Look broke, be rich. The first and most visible habit of the quietly wealthy is this. They do not look wealthy. Not because they cannot afford to, because they chose not to. There is an old idea in personal finance called the wealth illusion. The person driving the newest car is often the one with the least money saved. The person in the newest clothes is often the one with the most debt. The image of wealth and actual wealth are frequently moving in opposite directions. Research into millionaire behavior found that the majority of people with 7-figure net worth drive ordinary cars, shop at regular stores, and live in houses that do not immediately signal their financial position. They are invisible. The quietly wealthy understand a simple equation. Every dollar spent on looking rich is a dollar that is not compounding into being richer. Status is expensive. Wealth is surprisingly cheap to build if you stop spending on its appearance. The rule? Put money where it grows, not where it shows. Habit 9. Every dollar has a job. The quietly wealthy do not have idle money. Cash sitting in a standard checking account earning nothing is not neutral. It is losing ground to inflation every single day. The number stays the same. The purchasing power declines. That is a loss. It just does not feel like one because nothing dramatic happened. Every dollar in a quiet, wealthy person's life has an assigned role. Emergency fund in a high-yield account. Still accessible, still working. Monthly expenses covered. Predictable, tracked. Surplus deployed into something that earns more than inflation. Nothing sits without purpose. Nothing earns nothing. The rule is simple, but almost nobody follows it. If your money is not working, you are working for your money. That is the wrong direction. The goal is to reverse it. Habit 8, the 48-hour rule. This is one of the simplest habits on the list, and one of the most powerful. Any purchase above a certain threshold, say $50, $100, whatever your version of significant is, waits 48 hours before it happens. No exceptions. Not even if the sale ends today. Not even if the offer expires tonight. Not even if the deal looks too good to pass up. 48 hours every time. Here is why this works. Most purchases are made in a moment of excitement. Something catches your attention. It feels necessary right now. The brain's reward system lights up, and the rational part checks out. Every marketing technique designed to separate you from your money is designed specifically to exploit that window. The 48-hour rule closes the window. After 48 hours, research consistently shows around 90% of impulse purchases no longer feel necessary. The excitement faded. The need was not real. The 10% that still feels necessary after 48 hours, that is probably a genuine need. The quietly wealthy are not tighter with money. They are just slower with it. And that slowness costs them almost nothing, while saving them a significant amount. Habit 6. Never announce a raise. Every time income goes up, a raise, a bonus, a better paying job, a good month in business, the quietly wealthy person does one thing immediately. They tell nobody. Not for 6 months, maybe longer. This sounds dramatic. It has a very practical reason. When the people around you know your income increased, expectations adjust. Friends expect more generous dinners. Family expects more help. Social environments subtly pressure you towards spending that matches your new income level. Lifestyle inflation is not always a personal decision. It is often a social one. The environment pulls you upward in spending before you have had time to think clearly. The quietly wealthy person takes the raise and redirects it immediately and invisibly into investments, into savings, into whatever the next financial goal is. For months, Nothing visible changes. Then, eventually, quietly, it shows up in the numbers. The rule: when income rises, the first move is silence. The second move is deployment. Announcement comes last, if at all. Habit 5. Be your own accountant. Once a month, the quietly wealthy person sits down and does one thing that most people never do. They look at the actual numbers. What came in, what went out, what is left, what the net worth is today compared to what it was last month. Is it higher or lower? By how much? Why? This sounds obvious. Almost nobody does it. Most people have a rough sense of their financial position. They know roughly what they earn and roughly what they spend, but they have never actually sat down and looked at the precise picture. The number in the account at the end of the month is a surprise, sometimes a pleasant one, more often not. Every business tracks this. Every bank tracks this. Every investor tracks this. The quietly wealthy treat their personal finances with the same rigor. Not because it is exciting, because what gets measured gets managed, and what does not get measured tends to drift, usually down. The rule: 1 day a month. That is all it takes. Sit down, run the numbers. Know exactly where you are. Habit 4. Never touch the principal from people who cycle through it. The rule is simple. Once money is invested, actually deployed into something working for you, the original amount is permanently off limits. Only the returns get spent. The principal stays. The mathematics of this are not complicated, but the impact is enormous. If you invest a sum of money and it grows significantly over many years, the original amount you invested contributed to every single dollar of that growth. Touch the original amount for an emergency, for a house, for anything, and you do not just lose that amount. You lose every future dollar that amount would have generated. The quietly wealthy separate their money into clear categories: emergency fund for emergencies, investment principal for investing, returns for living. These categories do not cross. The rule: the seed produces the tree. Eat the fruit, never eat the seed. Habit 3. Always build a second income. No quietly wealthy person depends on a single source of income. Not because they are greedy, because they understand risk. A single income stream means one decision. Your employers, your largest clients, the economies can eliminate your income entirely overnight. The quietly wealthy treat that concentration of risk the same way a sensible investor treats having everything in one stock. You would not do it there, so why do it here? The second income stream does not need to be large to start. The point is the system, not the amount. Freelance work, a digital product, a small rental income, dividend income from investments, consulting, content. The amount in the beginning is almost irrelevant. What matters is building a second income muscle, something separate from the primary job that can grow independently over time. A small amount per month, consistently invested over many years, compounds into something that eventually changes the risk profile of your entire life. The rule: your first income feeds you, your second income frees you. Habit 2. Pay yourself before you pay anyone else. Most people invest whatever is left at the end of the month. The quietly wealthy invest at the beginning of the month, before anything else is touched. The income arrives, a fixed percentage leaves immediately into an investment account, a retirement contribution, a savings vehicle, before it has a chance to be spent on anything else. Then the rest of life gets funded from what remains. This works for one simple psychological reason. If the money is never in the spending account, it does not feel like money that was saved. It feels like money that was never there. The lifestyle adjusts to the remainder. Automatically, most people try to resist spending through willpower. The quietly wealthy remove the decision entirely. The money is gone before the temptation exists. There is also a tax dimension to this. Many investment vehicles reduce taxable income. Money invested through tax-advantaged accounts, retirement funds, depending on where you are in the world, means a portion of every contribution is money that would otherwise have gone to the government. The best return on any investment is the money that never gets taken. The rule: pay yourself first. Habit 1. Never stop learning. This is the habit that makes every other habit on this list possible. It is not a financial technique. It is not an investment strategy. It is a mindset. And once it takes hold, it does not let go. The quietly wealthy never stop being students of money. Not in an obsessive way, in a consistent, deliberate, ongoing way. A book here, an article there, a conversation with someone who knows more than they do, watching how other people who built wealth think and made decisions, and extracting the principles that apply regardless of context. The wealthiest and most successful investors in the world are almost universally known for one thing above their investing records. They read constantly, not for entertainment, to compound their understanding, the same way they compound their money. Here is why this is habit number 1. Every other habit on this list, the 48-hour rule, never touching the principal, paying yourself first, all of these require a level of understanding and conviction to follow through on. Without that understanding, they feel arbitrary and uncomfortable. With it, they feel obvious. The person who understands why the principle should never be touched will never touch it. The person who just heard the rule without understanding it will break it the moment life gets difficult. Knowledge is not just an asset. It is the asset that protects all the other. The rule: invest money in markets. Invest time in understanding. The return on understanding never crashes. That man with the 8-year-old car and the unremarkable clothes. His neighbor asked him once, "Why don't you treat yourself? You clearly do the work. You clearly have it. Why not show it a little?" He smiled, did not answer, because he knew something the neighbor did not. The goal was never to look like he had money. The goal was to have it. Those are two completely different games, and only one of them compounds. 10 habits. You do not start all 10 at once. You pick one today, right now. Drop in the comments which one you are starting, because writing it down makes it real. Real is where it begins.